It's the DecoShow time, episode 6, and coming up, Alex gives us his rundown of flat pricing, a great new feature in version 7.2. Then Mietek, Alex and myself talk about a DecoNetwork client who wants some tips on how to attract customers from his target market. All that and more coming up on the DecoShow. The DecoShow is brought to you by DecoNetwork, business software for printers and embroiderers. To find out more, visit DecoNetwork.com. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Deco Show, episode 6, recorded June 9th, 2016. I'm Brenden, President, Product Manager of DecoNetwork, and as always, joining me are our talented two co-hosts, starting off with Mr. Mietek Volosson in Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning, Mietek. Afternoon, sorry.
Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone.
One day we're going to be in the same time zone.
Yes, and we will not have to ask each other about the weather like we always do when we start the show. But that's one thing. That's one thing you can be sure of. If you watch this podcast, you will know what is the weather in Atlanta, what is the weather in UK, and what is the weather in Sydney.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
Always. And it's cold right now. I can tell you that much. I'm sniffling and it's cold. So
It's good.
Thanks, Mietek. And of course, our lovable Mr. Alex Heap, Strategic Relationship Manager in DecoNetwork Europe. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
And air guitar expert. Floating in the air.
I was going to say then, with Mietek saying about the weather, we should get a green screen behind me and I could, point. And here in Australia, it's winter, but still 20 degrees, where the Brits will suffer.
Yes, exactly. We're cold and you guys are in a heat wave. So.
Yeah, heat wave at 17 degrees.
No, we were just saying earlier that one day we'll all get together in the same room, and I think we said Hawaii is like the closest, similar geographical location for us all to meet up and do a podcast together one day.
Yeah. On the beach.
Yeah, it's actually funny you talk about weather. Dan, one of our programmers, he was involved in weather forecasting or programming for weather forecasting, so he's the office go-to man for weather predictions that everyone heads to. So we should get him on the show and give us a real weather introduction one day, and not just our little fake one that we like to do.
That'll be interesting.
Cool. Yeah, cool guy. He's actually working on some new designer stuff, which I might talk a little bit about later in the show, just because I know it's a hot topic that everyone's really interested in doing and learning about. So,
is it a weather widget by any chance?
It's a weather widget, exactly, that colors the shirt based on the weather. So yeah, that's exactly right. It's a good idea, actually. We should paint it. We'll edit that part out of the show. We'll put it in live. So. Alrighty, episode 6. So coming along well. We've had some great guests, and we have some more great guests coming up as well in future episodes. But we'll probably just start off again with a bit of a recap on version 7.2. So running in beta and getting some great feedback. So as always, thanks to our beta folk for their dedicated testing and providing us feedback on where we're going at with that product. A lot of excitement about it, a lot of great improvements. Again, Mietek is over the moon that we've gone to a single-digit point. He'd be happy if it was a single point, but he has a cup. What's on your cup, Mietek?
Is that $1 million?
Yes.
$1 million a cup.
Yes.
See, that's the wage you put down to a single-digit version. So.
Funny enough, I actually purchased this one at the dollar store. So.
So it's our 1 rupee, which is like 1,000 rupees is $1 or something like that. So.
It says $1 million, but I actually purchased this one at the dollar store, so I paid 99 cents for it.
Plus tax.
Yeah.
So yeah, great feedback we're getting on this version, and it really has, I guess, nailed a lot of the small improvements that, again, our customers are asking for in the forums. And the forum is really a place where we do look at for ideas and features, so keep submitting your ideas and suggestions there. A couple of little changes coming up as well, which I do want to mention before Alex gives us a bit of an in-depth demo at one of the really hot features of version 7.2. Is as you may have heard in recent times, Alpha Broda has acquired Bodak and Rhodes, so they're now becoming the single company. And as a part of that too, they're merging the way that live purchasing, their website and their stock is all handled. So we're making that change in version 7.2. So when we go live on Monday, June 30th, which is our intent plan to go live for this version, if you are currently a Bodak and Rhodes customer and you're buying through the live purchasing in Business Hub, then your same account details will be used but you'll just be from that point on purchasing from Alpha Broder. So you won't have to go in and do anything and reconfigure up your connection. It'll just continue to work. If you're not an existing Broder and Rhodes client and you like the product and you want to get involved and start selling them, then the catalog will no longer be available within DecoNetwork, but it will be merged with Alpha Broder. So essentially you go to Alpha Broder, enable them, and you get access to all the Broder and Rhodes products that were there before, and of course get access to all the Alpha products as well. And at that point you'd enter in your brand new Alpha account. So again, from Monday, June 30th, existing Broder and Rhodes clients just keep business as usual. We'll redirect all your purchase orders and put them through to the right location, to Alpha Broder. And new clients just sign up under Alpha Broder, and yeah, it should solve a lot of problems. And hopefully, we're going to do a similar thing as well for SNS as well, because they've done a similar merge with Eva and some other companies as well. So nice solution, nice and clean, and minimal work for you guys to have to get yourself configured up to keep buying from Broder and Rhodes. Okay, so Alex, you're going to talk about possibly my favorite feature ever, which is on top of Business Hub, of course, flat pricing.
Flat pricing, amazing. From the outside, it looks so simple, but we know how much work has gone into this, and the impact is just phenomenal. For those of you who don't know, flat pricing can be found in your settings, and under decoration settings, if you click decoration pricing, you'll have an option here to flip between flat and advanced pricing. So advanced pricing is where you can assign your price tables, etc. And flat pricing is you just enter one single digit. And the way that works is that when it's saved on your front-end web store, whenever a product is being configured, it's just going to add that pricing. Now, the benefit of that is you don't have to configure and test pricing tables. So if you are using multiple printing methods, you're going to have to figure out price tables for sublimation, DTG, embroidery, etc., etc. And if you're coming into this amazing industry, then that's something you're going to have to really put some thought to. And now we have this flat pricing, you don't have to put some thought into that just yet. And you can have the flat pricing on and go live a lot quicker. So the sooner you go live, you open up that revenue stream and you're good to go. So I've just saved there my flat pricing, the £10. And how that acts on the front end, I'll show you now. Here we can see I have a tank top at £1.98. I don't know the conversion, but yeah. I'm going to open this up, and you can see here it's adding. Well, I've got a bit of a discount on for myself. Give myself a bit of a discount. But you can see here the crossed out price is £11.92. So that would have been the blank plus a £10. And it's the same for all the print methods there. Now, to take it even further and even sweeter, just got to refresh my hub here a second.
So that value basically applies to every decoration process, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, that. And in your hub, when you're creating quotes and orders, the really sweet thing about this is it's going to pour that pricing in. So when I open up a product here, and I click on the pricing, you can see it pulls in the default at £10. Now you'll also see above there, I have here $7.99 at left chest. Now this is being pulled in for when I was actually testing this during a beta stage. So what's happening there is I actually defined a new decoration charge. So if I just click, I can say here, I can say this is £8. When I press OK, it's going to add the pricing, and this is going to allow me to build quotes quickly and get my pricing drilled right down to how I want it to be. But what's even cooler is that when I go to add another product and I open up my decoration pricing, it's actually remembered what the last pricing was. So if I want consistent pricing, I'm not having to constantly tap in, right chest, £8, £8. It's being saved for me. And the more decoration charges that I add, it's going to save them in there. So you see I'm adding it back, and I'm £12. And again, when I open up a new product, the back is there. And that's going to allow me to, it's amazing, isn't it? And I'm going to be smashing through quotes extremely quickly and orders. I'm amazed by it. I'm absolutely amazed. I'm actually lost for words.
Massive.
Massive, yes. I think you said it was Michael who made that, so kudos to Michael there. I want to buy you so much beer for being so bloody awesome.
Not Foster's. Just remember that. It's a global conspiracy. We don't drink that.
There we go. Yeah, and that's just a wonderful world of flat pricing. You can just get your products priced up so quickly. And in today's business, that's what you want to be doing things as, quickly.
Yeah, and I think too, as you showed there, you don't have to from the beginning think of all these price variables. And as you get a new price idea, you add it on the fly, and it grows. Takes away any barrier of setting up and having to think about what you need to do, but gives you the flexibility when you're ready to do that to simply add that new price and off you go in the same direction.
Indeed. Beautiful.
Very cool indeed. Mr. Mietek, what's your favorite feature in 7.2? Did we just show that?
We did, but I've shown two options last time, but I tend to agree with Alex. This flat pricing is something that is extremely exciting from my perspective, especially in the business. How people got used to that type of way of doing business, and it's just very convenient.
Yeah.
Advanced pricing is great, but advanced pricing requires from you to plan ahead, and we all know that it's one thing is to have a plan, and another thing is to live according to that plan, and that option is just there to help you out.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, cool. Thanks for that, Alex. So we're going to talk a little bit in a moment too about some interesting news from one of our clients in Australia that I visited yesterday, and I'll come to that in just a moment. But I believe, Mietek, you've got also an interesting story about a client you've been working with who's targeting rugby clubs over in the US.
Right, and I definitely want to share this with you guys. Let me actually work on it right now. So this is an interesting case, and I encourage all of us to actually have some conversation on this topic. I spent some time talking to one of our clients about it, and I just found this to be an interesting case scenario, and I think we can help them out, and perhaps others who are watching this podcast. So here's the case scenario: a company offering high-quality customized garments to rugby clubs, and I can let you know that they really have a high-quality garments, very competitive pricing, everything is in place. So what's happening right now? They do different type of marketing. They do Google AdWords, they do Facebook marketing. They're contacting individual teams from many leagues. So they're active, they are busy, they have a goal, and that goal is have individuals and teams to purchase custom products in his online store, and also self-serve with online designer. So their goal is very simple: bring traffic to the website and then let others to purchase items online, to customize those items for the teams and then purchase them. What's happening here is they don't get enough visitors. The conversion is slightly low. It's lower to what they would expect. They don't have enough sales, and of course they don't have a huge marketing budget to compete or even have a full-time person to do marketing online in that matter. So initially what I've noticed was how much focus they put into selling this online through one of their stores. It was like virtually I was the only way. And what I've noticed, and I discussed with them, was the fact that the goal should really be to make sales and not to make online sales. It doesn't matter what type of sale it is, right? If you're selling something, you're benefiting from it. And so that was one of the points. Another one I've noticed based on this conversation was that their marketing was really heavily focused on B2C individuals or perhaps teams. But they didn't really do B2B. They didn't contact any bigger companies. Based on this description, do you guys see anything else in that case scenario?
Well, I guess I actually started off on my original embroidery life in a company that I guess as a big part of what they did targeted a similar space, which was the rugby league club space. And I'm probably assuming you're referring to Union as a part of the rugby you're referring to. Same ball, different game. But yeah, we heavily focused on surf clubs and rugby clubs. And the owner, Dave Heisman, I still remember him saying this. He said, The reason why we're so successful in the rugby club is because he made an effort to build individual relationships with the clubs themselves and being an active member and a part of the clubs, not just this external entity that rocked up with a brochure and said, hey, buy my products. But he loved the sport to start with, so that's always a bonus, right? But he actively got involved with the clubs, sponsored them. He was a member on a couple of the boards, helped them out, relied heavily on sponsorship as well. And one of the things that we always did with every product we put out the door, with the permission of the client, and they very rarely ever said no, was on the back of our shirts, we printed or embroidered the Advanced Design logo. And as a part of that, they received a small discount on the purchase of the garments. And of course, clubs love that because they want to save money where they can. But that meant almost every game you went to on the Central Coast in the area where I lived in, on the back of the shirts, you always saw Advanced Design. So the other team members saw that. They loved the shirts. They looked great. They said, where do you get them from? Got them from Advanced Design. They got them from them as well. And again, they used the logo as a part of the sponsorship to get a discount on that. So from Dave's perspective, it was really about building that relationship with the club, not just being this external kind of supplier of, here's a brochure, come buy from me.
Would you risk a statement that if you will just do online marketing, you will never get any of those clubs working with you? If you would try to approach them from AdWords, or this will be much more limited?
I'd probably say yes, just because the fact that are they out there browsing around on the web looking for products? These people love and are passionate about their sport, and the best way to get in front of the people is to be a part of the sport or be a part of what they're doing. So attending club meetings, attending games, meeting these people face to face, I think is always going to add more value than having an AdWord out there and hoping that someone might click on it and come through. Again, this is just based on our experience from Advance.
And I think this experience is pretty much consistent with, we just had a podcast last week with Mark from Codesi, and we discussed some of it, and looking through the Facebook groups that are helping people who are just starting the business, virtually everyone is mentioning that the actual interaction with your customers or groups is very important. Yep. And people do look for this direct interaction with you. They want to know you, and hoping not having the brand such as Amazon or other big guys, and not having millions of dollars for the online marketing. You really have to, if you are in local, you really have to look for the local recognition, and that will require a little bit extra from you, because you actually have to leave your office and go out there and talk to people, offer them something, and discuss this, how this will benefit them, how this will benefit you. But once they know you, it may actually be much easier for you, for your convenience, to convert them into online selling. So then you can have an affiliate store. Then you may offer them a reordering option, and you can make your life easier. But really, to start with, hoping that you will get your sales online just based on the online presence, it's difficult. I'm not sure if you guys would agree with me with that statement.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think too, clubs in particular is it's a community-based organization. They are about, as much as they love the sport, they are about meeting other people that love the sport and are passionate about it, and it's a social event as well as being a form of entertainment. So, getting out there into immersing yourself in as a part of that crowd is, logically and obviously the best option. And again, who says the coaches are even having time to jump online and search for AdWords? They're probably too busy doing what they're doing. They're in some ways probably volunteering as a part of their full-time job as well, so they're probably incredibly busy people. They probably spend very little time in front of the screen, which is a good thing for all of us, actually. But
right.
Yeah, absolutely, getting out there into the crowd is the best way.
So I'm gonna move to my next slide, and this is for the discussion. I would like us to discuss those points if you guys think that this could help, okay? And because that's our ultimate goal. We want to discuss some things here in this podcast and help you out, guys, based on what we know, what we have experienced, and as you guys know, like Brenden, for example, Alex, we have experience in the industry. We observe what others are doing. We know what works, what not. And based on this experience, plan of action could be let's discuss if this could help or not. Contact organizations who run the entire leagues and not individual teams or persons. So I'm not necessarily suggesting here that you will do just the entire league. Instead of the teams, you can still reach out to teams, but perhaps talking to the entire league, maybe some organization could make things easier for you. What do you guys think? Would that help?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Again, going back to my experience with advanced design, and I'm going to use the surf club side of the business here when I talk about this. And again, I completely remember Dave telling me this. He was actually one of my great mentors when I started off in my early days. He said, don't start too big. He said if he went straight on to the surf league, the Surf Life Saving League in Australia, if he went straight to the national brands and said, hey, I've got this great surf range for you, buy my products, door shut. They don't have time for him, they don't want to know him, they've already got a supplier. So he always said start at the lowest level and work your way up. So in the surf league it was, in his case, joining the local surf club, which he did. He became a local member of the surf club, he was very active in them, he was a patron of many clubs, he sponsored them, he supported them, and he got his apparel in his local surf club that he was a member of. So he started small. Then from that, it's a recommendation phase. They love their products. He said, look, you know what, you know Frank from the regional division. Can you maybe recommend Frank to me to be the apparel supplier? He'd recommend Frank on a regional basis. He'd get in at a regional level. And then Frank would know someone at a state level. Frank would recommend at the state level, and then state level would recommend someone at the national level. And that's literally how Advanced Design, a small little company, family business on the Central Coast, got into the national level of surf club in Australia and did one of the largest promotional product apparel supplies in Australia. He started off small and he's worked his way up. If he went all the way to the front and went straight for nationals, they just would have knocked him off straight away because they don't know him. They build businesses on relationships, not on brochures. So he literally started from the ground up and through contacts worked his way up to the top. So
would you risk a statement here that in this particular case, that business that they are already in the business for some time now and they are already working with many clubs, it seems that it's time to start to reach out to those leagues instead of just the clubs? Maybe it's time. As you said, you have to build this from bottom up, but you sometimes you have to take this step. It must be your initiative. You got to try.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, people aren't going to do your business for you. And I think in this case, you should be asking people, do you know anyone at that league level? Speak to the club president, speak to the club coaches, and get them to do that introduction for him, because they have an established relationship, established trust, and established credibility. And if he's built that trust and credibility with his contacts, then he can leverage that and go to that next step.
Right. So another point in here is offer a commission from each sale to the league. DecoNetwork system actually allows you, it lets you to do that. So you can keep track of all of the commissions, and that might be a nice incentive as well, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think of it?
Yeah, Alex, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that's great because some of the competitors of this client here may not actually have the facility to do that. So if we highlight the benefits here, money is being put back into the club. So even though they're buying, they're getting money back, and you think of that as a rolling stone. If I can just keep going, the more they buy, the more clubs that buy, the more money that comes back into the league. It's like self-investing, and that will give some good leverage when it comes to competitors. Something else I want to touch on as well, something that for those who were listening last week, Mark was saying that actually print a product and just take it, just print a product, take it down to the clubs, down to the leagues, even give one to the coach. Tell the coach, here you go, this is yours, have it for free, and
put his name on the back.
Yeah, put his name on the back. Yeah, and as Mietek says, he's got a good quality product, and if it's good quality, then that will be enough to sell. So give one to the coach, and the coach will probably recommend out as well. take
I
it
will
to the
even
people?
I will even take it one step further, Alex. Let me know what you think about it. You take the product, the printed product, but then with how easy it is, how relatively easy it is. It's easy to create an affiliate store in DecoNetwork. Create an affiliate store, customize the look of that affiliate store, and show them the online presence for that exact team with that product in, and how easy it is to buy it from that site online. But in that case, you have the interaction. Then you can also take an alternative. We know that you're busy. We know you may not be interested in purchasing this online. So go ahead and create a quote and send that quote to the email where you are talking to those people and showing them quote for this particular product and how this will be presented to them before they will actually purchase this product and what they will get after it is being purchased. So you're actually having all those three places, all those three elements in place, and you're actually giving them a choice. You're telling them, here's the online presence. It's customized. It looks like you as your business, but then we can also just create quotes for you on the fly immediately, and take a look at this quote, how visually perfect that quote is, and how close it is to the actual product that you're purchasing.
Yeah, definitely. Also, you could possibly identify how the club are currently sourcing their current products. So there's a good chance that they're probably doing it all themselves. Maybe someone in the club or the coach himself is painstakingly sourcing these elsewhere and is having to manage this and manage the money. You could take all that pain away from the club. You're handling their site for them. You're handling all the production. You're going to have a good relationship. All the communications recorded in the business hub, and it's going to be seamless, efficient, and extremely easy for the club to get these products. And when it comes to reordering, now we all know how beautiful and easy the reordering is. So, and the coach can log into his own account and do that reorder himself. So he can just tick, reorder, and he can get back on the sideline. So forward thinking, the benefits just keep rolling.
Yeah, and the massive benefit of having that affiliate store, which is great for the coach, but it's fantastic for the fans of that sport. So they can promote that at the event, put it up on the billboard, put it on the back of the flyer, put it on the back of the jerseys, where fans can go on and buy decorated apparel with the logo, with the brand, with their own fan name and number on the back. And again, that funds goes directly back to the club or the league. So there's a value and a benefit for everyone on that space.
Yeah.
So they can have an extra grill at the end of the season with preferably some free beer provided.
Not Foster's.
Yeah, not Foster's. That's true. So the bottom line here is you got to be proactive, and when you think about DecoNetwork, you can't just count that you will put the AdWords there and someone's gonna visit your website and will purchase things. During this conversation that I had, it was a repetitive topic. What is wrong with my website? What is wrong with my website? What is wrong with my website? Maybe there is nothing wrong with the website. The website is just fine. You just need to establish this relationship first. And as you mentioned, Brenden, if you are a local business, the expectation from the customers in the local business is to have that face-to-face interaction, to know you, to know who you are. And if you wanna step away from that, if you just want to do the online presence, then you really have to take a big step to start playing a game with those big guys out there.
Well, it basically comes down to knowing where your customers are. Clearly, his customers aren't online searching in Google for AdWords. He's not getting the traffic. He's not getting the click-through rates. You could argue that maybe his ads need to be configured and maybe his budget's not high enough, and there's 1,000 variables that you can go into, and that's probably one of the reasons why Mark just says don't bother, because there are 1,000 variables when you can go into when you know where your customer is. Every Saturday they're down on that field playing a game of sport. You should be down on that field where they're playing that game of sport and meeting that client, taking the product down there, showing the team members, showing the coach, instead of hoping for them to find you when they're probably not even looking in the first place. They're probably perfectly happy with their supply that they've got now, but they don't realize the benefit that you can add to them with these additional tools that Deco gives you, that if you just went down and talked to them, it'll probably be a no-brainer.
Right. So it's almost like don't go into AdWords. There's no such a thing like part-time online marketing for AdWords. You either do it full-time or rather invest those money somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I've heard pretty consistently. I mean, probably the most positive statement I've heard about AdWords is from an Australian client, a preprint bar. And he described it as a tap, where they would turn it on with a pretty high budget when things were a bit quiet in the early days, just to kind of beef up a few additional sales and traffic. But they were a different kind of fish. You know, they were doing a very broad market, come and design anything on my t-shirt, which you probably are going to search for in Google. When talking about niche market stuff, you can get quite targeted with AdWords, which is great. But it comes down to a point of, you know, do you spend your time massaging these keywords, or do you literally walk where you know that person is and have that face-to-face conversation with them? And face-to-face is always greater value, always.
Yep. So new goal, serve your customers in the way they want to be served and be proactive and in control.
Yep.
Do you guys agree with those statements?
Yeah, again, they're down on the field, aren't they, Alex?
Yeah, definitely. And when you say be proactive, it is, you know, take yourself away from your desk and just go. Just go. You know, don't tackle the coach like you would in rugby. Don't tackle him. Be proactive.
Right, and I don't know. I read a book recently about there were memories one of the former soccer players, and as Alex knows exactly, soccer players are not exactly the family role models. They have many. They are very outgoing people. Let me put it that way. And one of the chapters mentioned the fact that one of the players was going and asking girls for a phone number. And the other player, who was way more shy than this other one, was saying, how can you do that? Are you not afraid that you're going to be denied? That they're not going to give you the phone number? And then his response was, well, if I'm going to ask 10 girls for a phone number, probably 8 of them will tell me no, but I will still get 2 numbers. And that rule may as well just apply into that. If you will go out there and approach 10 businesses, 8 out of 10 may tell you no. But you will still get 2 businesses working with you, and it's still worth it.
Yeah. But what's probably most important about that, and again, this is another thing I remember Dave telling me, now that I think about it, I learned a lot from Dave, is when you do get that no, don't just say, okay, thank you. Ask why. You know, have the confidence to say, you know, why is it, you know, are you happy with your supplier? Is it because you don't have the time? Is it the price? You know, what is the reason why, you know, you decided that we're not suited to you? Because that's something you can then try to solve, or at least know how to address and answer when you probably are going to hit that same why reason again on a future conversation.
And that also reminds me of one post on Facebook on that apparel group that I joined, the one run by Mark from Codesi, and that reminds me of one comment where new businesses started to reach out to some other businesses in the area. And they said that some of them get back to them years after.
Yeah.
It took them some time, but eventually they win them over. It didn't happen overnight, but it was still worth it. So it played well.
Yep.
That's all I had from my end. But yeah, go ahead, guys.
Just one last thing from me. There's a famous saying by Thomas Edison, and that is, I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work.
Yep.
So don't give up. Just, you know, there's always different ways of going back in.
Yeah.
I agree. Did you say it from memory, or you just Google it? Be honest.
It's on his tattoo. Come on.
I had to Google it because I wasn't sure whether it was
You knew about it.
10,000 ways that don't work or 10,000 ways that won't work. I had to just clarify that won't work or don't work. Either way, it's still 10,000 ways that won't work.
And the last lesson there, if you're not sure, just Google it.
Google it.
Right. Ignore the AdWords because they don't work. Just Google it.
That's true. So hopefully, guys, this will help you a little bit. We'll be very interested to getting some of the feedback from you. If you have any additional comments, and if you're interested in some more conversations, if you want us to discuss some other topics, yeah, give us some feedback. We're here, and we will do our best to help.
Probably, Alex, if you can pull up the Deco forums, actually, that's a really good point. If anyone does have a topic or anything they'd like to discuss, we have actually created a forum section on our site. If you go to DecoNetwork.com/forums, browse down to the DecoShow, which is right there in the middle, up there. We put a post per episode. Feel free to add commentary and add questions to that. And if you do have an idea on a subject that you'd like to talk about, or if you've got a great story you'd like to share and would like to be a guest on our show, please drop us a line there, and we'll be more than happy to bring you on board and talk to you about some awesome ideas. Hopefully share with you some of our wisdom and knowledge, but more likely us learning a heck of a lot from what you guys do as well. That's really what it's all about. 2 thumbs up, Alex says.
2 thumbs up. Oh, yes.
All right.
Massive.
Thanks, Mietek. Really cool. So I had a similar, I guess, exciting conversation yesterday with one of our clients here in Australia. Myself and Amber were doing a bit of a tour around, meeting some clients and getting some great imagery and photographs that we'll be sharing on our blog and post. And I dropped into a customer called ProPrint Group, and they're based in Sydney. Really fun company. It's a company that's been around for quite a while. The next generation, the son Rick, took over from his father, and we really made the company his own. I mean, it's a very fun, trendy. You can almost describe it or see it as like a kind of like a Google of wrong direction, wrong photo. A Google of kind of decorating. The office is really kind of decked out and fun, and what it should be. And one thing I love about the place is when you walk around, there are these posters which you see all around the place, and they encourage the team, and I love this one. It's can do, collaborate, innovate, solutions driven, customer first. I just thought that's really fantastic. It's building a culture in the business, and it kind of really, in a single poster, describes where and how they are today and how they became, the great company and a fun company, which I think is most important of all. But some exciting news that Rick shared, and I'm actually going to try to get him on for a future show to talk about this in a bit more detail, because he really has a great story to tell. Is they were, I guess, probably fair to say that they were heavily focused on B2B, and it's a fun part of what they do as a business. It got them to where they are. It's repeat business. We've talked about how great B2B is, but he really wanted to go to that extra step and build a new brand online, because this is Rick. He's an outgoing guy. He's fun. He wants to build a fun consumer-based brand. So he knew of Deco. We dropped in a few times. They weren't a Deco client at the time, and they've recently signed up, and they've done very, very well through their new front-end store with very minimal marketing, banking off their existing customers, which is important of all. But now they're taking that a step further, and they've just secured $2 million funding to invest into a DecoNetwork website on a front end with a massive marketing budget, because you do need that kind of dollar when you're talking about the kind of exercise they're doing. Which of course is not for everyone, but I think it's an interesting story to learn and understand. So yeah, I'm going to invite Rick on, and we'll pick his brain and hopefully be inspired of some of the things that help him build his company to where it is today.
Wow, great job, Rick.
Yeah, an awesome job. An awesome company, really, really fun guys. So it's fun to go visit them. All right, I think we're about wrapping up for this show. It's a nice, quick, short one. Having said that, we've gone for nearly an hour, but always good to share a lot of great information. And thanks, Mietek, for that story. It was really, really interesting, and be good to swing back, I guess, a bit later and kind of learn how they've gone and what changes they've done and exactly what kind of steps they took.
I agree. I mean, not only that. I mean, this is an advice in general, and this is one of the reasons why having guys like Mark on the show is so good for everyone. And if you guys didn't watch the previous episode, I really truly encourage you to do that, because those are the basics. I mean, without this approach, you're not going to be able to take that next step. Without this approach, without starting from the bottom, you will not be able to invest $2 million as those guys are doing into something else. You just can't take a shortcut. There's no shortcut for it.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, anything more? Are we calling it a wrap? Think we're good?
Yep, that's a wrap.
All right.
This was a good one.
Yeah, it was. Had a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Great advice as always. And again, head over to our website, DecoNetwork.com/podcast. You'll be able to catch this and past episodes, like Mietek just said, the great one we had with Alex. And of course, jump onto our forums if you do want to be a guest or got something to contribute. Post it there, and we hope to have you on a future Deco show. Thanks for your time and have a great day. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.